welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to start off by looking at a few things that were announced today about Starfield and that dev Q&A with Will and Emil. So let's start it off with some of the stuff that was announced today from Starfield. One of them was this really cool video with Adam Savage, and basically they paired up and they actually made a Frontier ship. There's a video on Adam Savage's YouTube channel, and I'll leave that link down in the description. So if you want to go check it out, it's about an hour long, so just kind of know that going into it. And I have not watched that, and I will probably get around to watching that here over the next couple of days. But the next thing that was announced today was, well, Starfield has gone gold, and we now have preload dates. For Xbox, it's going to be August 17th. For any kind of PC or Steam, it's going to be August 30th. So there you go. Preloads will start tomorrow and here in about 2 weeks, because we are rapidly approaching launch day for early access. So for that dev Q&A, there was 16 total questions that they did go through. So we'll just go through each one. I'll just read off the questions and some of the answers that Will and Emil kind of gave off for these questions. Question number one is, can we buy houses or property in main cities? Will with the answer, yep. There's housing in different cities that the player can get. Some you have to purchase and some are rewards for specific quests. Emil adds on, sure can. You can purchase a dwelling in all the major cities in the game. There are at least one that you can get specifically for completing something. Question 2. If we get the kid stuff trait, will our parents be generated based on our character's look, or are the standard parents put in place? What benefits might there be? Will answered, our programmers on our new face technology were excited to make a function that could try to match your custom face and then create two parents. So they are based on what your character looks like, although the specific math involved is a bit beyond me. We had similar tech in our previous games. Emil added, yes, totally. Just as we did in Fallout 3 with your dad and in Fallout 4 with your son in Starfield, if you take the kid stuff trait. Your parents are based off of you. No spoilers, but I think fans will really appreciate the actors we got to play those roles, and they just get so into it. It's awesome. Oh, and yeah, you can get stuff. Question 3. For those of us who have never played a BGS game and will be starting with Starfield, what information should we know that will make the experience more impactful right from the start? How deep should we go into creating our character's backstory before we start the game? Emil starts with, well, we always make our games for fans both old and new, so you can jump in without ever having played a Bethesda title before. Will adds, while we do start you off in the same spot, what happened to you before the game starts is totally up to you and your headcanon. Emil adds, but we like to look at it less as playing a game and more about living in the universe we created. So settle in, go at your own pace, and pretty soon you'll learn all the systems and be adventuring through the settled systems the way you choose. Will adds, there is a trait and background system that will let you specify more about yourself, but you can also select an anonymous background and no traits if you want. In terms of if you've never played a BGS game before, try anything. We're a simulation as well as a role-playing game, so we try to support the player doing what they want as much as we can. Emil adds, as for going into a character's backstory, that's entirely up to you. I'm all about that headcanon. For example, my latest character is a working schlub named Mitch Dombrowski. He's a husky, good-natured space trucker, and while he'll do whatever he needs to defend himself, he'll never shoot first. He's like Han Solo's sweeter, older brother. And yes, there are traits and backgrounds that support that kind of thing. Question 4. How will the smuggling cargo system work? Can we hide it somewhere on the ship and sell it for more currency later? Will answers, certain items are considered contraband and you'll need to smuggle them past security ships that are in orbit of major settlements. Emil adds, there are specific items that are considered contraband, meaning they're pretty much illegal anywhere. And yes, you can hide them using special ship modules you can purchase. So you know, don't get caught with those harvested organs. The economy is fixed, but prices of bought and sold goods can change based on the skills you choose. Question 5. Will there be a jail system if we commit crimes? Will answers yes. You can elect to go to jail or pay a fine when you're arrested, or even resist arrest and try to escape. Emil answers, yep, the Settled Systems is more like Skyrim than Fallout 4's Commonwealth in that regard. You bunch of criminals. There's civilization, there's government, and there are laws. And in a couple of cases, we actually explore the themes of crime and punishment in our futuristic universe. Question 6. Will time pass when not in the game? For example, will my trade routes, outposts, and mining operations continue to produce, or does that only occur while actively playing? Emil answers, the sim only runs when you're actively playing. No sleeping on the job. Will adds, only when actively playing. Question 7. Can you be a double agent in the game? For example, if you join the United Colonies, can you also join the Crimson Fleet and give the United Colonies information? And what factions have that feature if they do? Will starts off with the answers. All of the playable factions can be completed independently. Emil adds, ha, that is exactly what you can do. Infiltrate the Crimson Fleet for the UC System Defiance. It's specific to that questline. Will adds, the Crimson Fleet storyline does feature you being an undercover agent inside the fleet on behalf of the UC System Defiance, a specific military branch of the United Colonies. But whether you betray the fleet or UC System Defiance is a choice you will get to make. Emil adds, in the studio, I have been half-jokingly accused of referencing movies that some folks have never seen because I'm old. So with this particular plotline, the inspiration was very much the movie Donnie Brasco, which is the true story of an FBI agent who infiltrates the mafia. How far will you go? Question 8. Depending on traits selected during character creation, will it at all be possible to play through the game in a pacifist mode, i.e. without killing anyone or even potentially anything? Will starts off the answers with, I can't guarantee every mission can be completed in pacifist mode, but we do have a couple of systems that will help. Emil adds, so we talked about this very early on during pre-production, whether or not we would fully support a non-lethal playthrough. We realized that for various reasons that wasn't totally feasible. Will adds, one system is our speech challenge game where you can persuade someone to do something like not fight you. Emil adds, now that being said, there are some good non-lethal options, whether through dialogue or by using non-lethal weapons. Those can be used in certain situations, honestly, a lot of situations. Though I couldn't comfortably say you can complete the entire game without any killing whatsoever. The Settled Systems is mostly civilized, but it can be a dangerous place if you're going off the beaten path. And you're absolutely going off the beaten path. Will adds, the speech challenge game is added in specific scripted moments, and we try to add one in to most quests where important characters confront you. Question 9. What are the beliefs and basic history of the religions we can join? Sanctum Universum, Enlightened, Great Serpent. Emil answers, okay, so this one. Will starts off with, yeah. Emil adds, existing in real life religions are part of the Starfield universe, with folks of all religions and denominations out there, but we don't really focus on them. Instead, we highlight 3 new ones specific to the game. Will adds, the Sanctum Universum is only a couple decades old in our timeline, but has gained a lot of prominence. They believe that God is out there somewhere in the universe, and that humanity's ability to travel the stars brings us closer to God. Emil adds, Sanctum Universum, the members called Universals, believe that God very much exists somewhere in the universe, that a higher power is guiding us all. Specifically, they believe that humanity's ability to travel the universe and grab jump is God's way of saying, I'm out here, come find me. Will adds, the Enlightened are an atheist group that focuses on humanitarian and community work. They believe that life is something every person has to take responsibility for, so that if we want the world to be a better place, we have to do it. Emil adds, the Enlightened. These folks are essentially organized atheists. They don't believe in any kind of higher power. Rather, they teach that human beings have to take care of each other, and they practice what they preach through various community outreach programs. House Varun. Oh boy. So in the game, you're not really sure what the complete truth is, but the gossip among the guards is this: a colony ship sets off for a new world, making grav jumps along the way. After one of the grav jumps, one of the passenger claims he spent that time communing with a celestial entity known as the Great Serpent. What was a few seconds for everyone else was much longer for him, and he brought back a mandate, which is basically get on board or be devoured when the Great Serpent encircles the universe. Is it true? I ain't saying. So in the game, you sometimes face off against House Varun Zealots as an enemy group, and that's their motivation. I recently got the House Varun logo tattooed on my wrist, so yeah, I dig them. Question 10. How many companions total will there be able to recruit? Will starts off answering, there will be over 20 named characters who can join your crew. Emil adds, over 20 total, and we really focused on the members of Constellation. What Will said, LOL. Will continues, 4 of them are from Constellation and have the most story and interaction with the player, but all of the named characters have their own backgrounds and can follow you around and carry your stuff. Emil adds, when we first began Starfield pre-production, we looked back at our previous games and realized how popular and effective the companions were, so they were a big priority for us, and we really wanted to tie them directly to the main quest. There are some really big moments with them specifically. I should also mention that our companion voice cast is amazing. We haven't released the list yet, but you can be sure there are a lot of talented actors bringing those characters to life. Same for Constellation in general. Question 11. When we assign crew members to work at Outpost, do we have to pay them salaries? Emil starts off, you just pay them once. We actually experimented with paying them regular salaries, but ultimately decided to just have the one cost up front. Will answers, yep, one-time payment that you can use the speech challenge game to negotiate over. Some traits also affect the cost. Emil adds, there's a lot to do in Starfield, and we wanted to minimize what the player had to constantly keep track of. Question 12. Will our companions be able to level up their perks? Will their perks stack with ours? Will starts off, all crews start with a set of skills at specific ranks. Emil adds, they don't level up, but they come at different ranks, depending on the companion. Will adds, so you might meet a character that's especially good at rifles, and you hire them to watch your back. Or you might meet an astrodynamics expert that will increase your grav jump range when assigned to your ship. Emil adds, well, we call them skills in Starfield, and they do stack with yours when relevant. Some are there for flavor to highlight the companions' backgrounds and interests, but you'll really feel the benefit of the ship and combat related ones. Getting a boost to your shields or seeing your companion laying down fire with a weapon they're proficient in are pretty sweet moments. Question 13. What are your favorite parts of the game? Emil starts shipping it, which is really hilarious that he's actually joking because it went gold obviously the day they did the Q&A. But seriously, folks, Will adds, I love finding content that I haven't seen yet or forgot about. Our games are so big that no one person is likely to have seen it all, even after all our passes and levels of review. Emil adds, because of my position, my experience is a little different than yours. I won't speak for Will, but personally, I've seen every questline, every city, every major piece of content in the game at every stage of development. So my answer is colored by that. For me, the real pleasure is seeing how they all evolved into the versions they are today. The versions everyone here will play. I have a real soft spot for Neon. Getting that city nailed down took a lot of work by a lot of different people, and the result is really the cyberpunk settlement I always hoped it would be. I also love all the quest lines. I think they're the best we've ever done. The designers on this project totally killed it. Will adds, our quests really evolve over development, and it's great to see how everyone adds to them: designers, animators, voice actors, lighting, everything. Question 14. What books or movies had a big influence on some of the quests? Will adds, I'm a history nerd, so I actually listen to a lot of podcasts like Hardcore History and the History of Rome. Emil adds, Well, I'm a child of the late 70s and early 80s, and I have very fond memories of the sci-fi of that time. So let me think. Will adds, while our game is science fiction, I like how historians can tell you about how human beings react to extreme circumstances like war, famine, and technological breakthroughs. And you can imagine how we react to similar circumstances in a fictional setting, just at a grander scale. Emil adds, Star Wars, OG Battlestar Galactica, Space 1999, Buck Rogers, Battle Beyond the Stars, Ice, Pirates, and let's not forget the classic that is Metal Storm, The Destruction of Jared Sin. I think I actually saw that one in 3D. But also much headier sci-fi stuff, like the writings of Arthur C. Clarke and Robert Heinlein, or films like Contact, Interstellar, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and even Event Horizon. In all of those examples, you realize that outer space is two things. One, a source of mystery and wonder, sometimes terror, and two, a giant blank page on which you can write any story. And we have written a lot of very different stories in Starfield. Question 15. What are some favorite small details in Starfield to add to the immersion? Emil starts off, I think what I really love is that although humans are living in space and our aesthetic is very much NASA punk, this is a very lived-in universe and you can see it everywhere. Will continues, I look really closely at our outfits. You can see seams, materials, especially on the spacesuits. Constellation members have patches on their spacesuits and they're tied to what skills they have. Emil continues, you know, everyone loves the sandwiches, but it's the books that are lying around, the notes on the bulletin boards, the environmental storytelling that our level designers and world artists are so good at. Will continues, we also love buttons. There are a lot of buttons. Emil continues, I'm a slow typer and somewhat typo obsessed. Totally love the work from our voice actors too, and the music and sound effects and clothes, lol. Buttons, we do love our buttons. Oh, and I do want to mention this. If you haven't heard about it, Adam Savage and the team are building a filming model of the Frontier. And yes, that link will be down in the description area if you do want to go check it out. And it is about 56 minutes. Just be aware when you go check that out, it is quite long. And that ship, man, and all the ships, the level of detail is insane. Question 16, the final question. What is the history of the mechs? Emil is the only one that actually answered here, so we don't even hear from Will, but he starts off, oh, the mechs. Good one. So we showed this a bit in one of the animated shorts. The mechs are leftovers from the Colony Wars. Note, it's Colony War and not Colony Wars, singular. Both sides, United Colonies and Freestar Collective, had mechs, but the Freestar Collective really mastered them. The United Colonies had mechs too, but they also relied on the controlled alien beast from their Xeno Warfare division. Both of those were outlawed with the armistice that ended the Colony War. I'm not saying there's an old mech battleground in the game, I'm typing it. Mechs, not usable, no, they're in ruins. So there you go. Anybody curious if we will see mechs in Starfield? Doesn't seem like we will see them in the initial launch, but could be coming down the line, maybe in a future expansion. So there you go. That was all 16 questions and answered. Thanks, Will and Emil, for taking time out of their day, just kind of, talk with the community. Not a lot of groundbreaking, new features or anything like that. You kind of didn't think you would hear a lot of that, but it was still kind of cool to hear some of their thoughts. So what are your thoughts? Did you have any takeaways from this? I thought some of this stuff was pretty neat. Alrighty, take care.